A very good morning and a warm welcome to Motivation Monday, where we share inspiring stories and have challenging conversations. I'm your host, Ted Wahome. Now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And mental health issues, as you know, have become very prominent. I don't know if it's because we now know more about it or because mental health issues have increased. Perhaps during this show, we will be discussing a bit about that. And today we have a very special guest. His name is Josiah Juma, or in full, Josiah King Juma. And Josiah is somebody who lives with bipolar. So actually the title of today's episode is Living with Bipolar. And he is the hope for this message, for this episode. My hope and our hope here is that you and I will be more aware of some of the challenges that come, for instance, with somebody who is living with bipolar. But in general, what are some of those things that we ought to think about, especially when it comes to mental health issues? I pray that God will help us indeed as we think about the various aspects and the various people who might be in our lives. Or perhaps this is actually you, that you can be encouraged today and motivated to know that you can rise above whatever God has allowed and whatever has been thrown your way. So with that, karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you for the opportunity to share my life. And I'm so glad. I'm really happy about this.
Excellent.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Josiah?
Josiah King Juma is...
it's a very interesting name, by the way.
Thank you.
A very special name.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's a young person, okay, middle age.
Yeah.
Born in 1992 in a little small town called Kitale. And that's where I was brought up until high school.
Okay.
And I'm not married, first of all, and I have a dad and a brother, and that's, I guess, the nuclear family for me. And I'm an artist. I would like to refer to myself as an artist in the music industry, in the media. That is just creativity. Yeah. So I'm a creative to describe myself better.
And speaking of creativity, man, you look sharply dressed. For those of us who are watching us, this guy is dressed to the T.
Thank you.
And looking good. So I think that shows up even in the way you dress.
Thank you so much.
That's amazing. So today we talk about a subject that I think is both personal and something that I think you've allowed actually and said, hey, I want to share my story and I want to talk about this. So I don't know where you want us to begin. I know the story might go as far back, all right? But just tell us a little bit about how you came to know, that, hey, I think I might actually be living with bipolar. Yes.
Yeah, so I've had two episodes of prolonged period of depression. The first one came with me. I resigned somewhere. I was working formally. That was way back in 2019. Okay. After working there for like 1 year and a few months. 1 year and a few months. And so I resigned, and I didn't have an exit plan. So while I'm trying to juggle the thing of finding a job, finding purpose, I guess I was also struggling with purpose. I didn't really know what I'm supposed to be doing with this life. I didn't know, is it music? Is it media? Because I'm trained in media. I have a degree in that. Is it media, or will I be a pastor, or will I be? I was just all over the place. So after trying to secure a job and failing within a very short period of time, like I thought I would have been more patient, I went into depression. So for 1 year, like between April 2019 to January 2020, just before COVID. And so I was depressed over that time. Okay. Yeah.
And I'd like you to describe this a bit more, because I feel like sometimes even in our culture, we use the word depressed very loosely.
Yes.
Right? We say things like, the internet is out, I'm so depressed. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Just what was that depression like? What is it like to be? And because somebody might actually be living with somebody.
Yes.
Or maybe they're experiencing certain things and they don't know that they're actually depressed. What does that look like?
Yeah, so from my own experience, it looked like me socially withdrawing, losing interest in some of the things I used to enjoy,
Including music.
Including music. Like I wanted to be so far away from music. trying to get something else rather than what you like to distract you from that feeling of hopelessness. Is a feeling of despair, like you don't see a future. In fact, I was suicidal at some point, and yeah, those moments weighed heavily on me, and I felt, you have mixed feelings. You first of all think you've let yourself down. You've let the people that have supported you throughout your life down, like your parents, friends, relatives, anybody that has been looking up to you and hoping for the best for you. So you feel like you are letting them down. And so, yeah, it's such a place of darkness, So it's a dark place, and it's a prolonged period. It's not like a 1 minute thing and then the next minute you're happy and you're moving on, or 1 week and then you're up. So this was me, like the entire year. It's been years. I think if I just add up the amounts of depression, I had a first phase, then I recovered in 2020, miraculously. Yeah. And it happened when a few people from church, and you see, this is something I really can't take for granted, that people have been seeing me in action, and then suddenly I'm missing. Suddenly my phone is off. I was intentionally putting my phone on flight mode. I think it might have gotten damaged at some point, and I was so reluctant to even let people know that the phone is damaged. I'm panicky, I'm anxious whenever I see a phone call or a text message. I'm just thinking somebody's about to call me out of my closet and want to meet me, and I didn't want to appear the way I looked at that moment. You are seeing a polished version of me, but I can tell you there are months, actually couple of weeks, I couldn't take a shower. Couple of weeks, I was just loosely I was loose on hygiene, like didn't care, didn't brush my teeth, didn't want to wash my face. So the routine was like getting up. What was I doing really? Getting up, sitting on the bed, not even barely getting out of the room, except for going to the bathroom, washroom, to relieve myself, and coming back there, eating, and then sleeping. Oh, I also had a laptop actually, and I had loaded so many movies. I used to love watching movies way back. Not like these days. I don't like movies that much. So I used to watch movies, and I repeat the same movies because I didn't have internet. I could not Netflix or anything or download nothing. So movies that I downloaded way back in 2019, I'm watching them through 2020, and I'm just binge watching and repeating, just to distract myself now.
Okay. All right, so that was the first episode of depression, and
Yes.
we'll get back, by the way, to what is bipolar, right,
Yes,
in your own
yes.
understanding. But so you had that first bout of depression. Did you have another one?
Yes, I had another one. So, like I said earlier, some people reached out to me, and they tried for a long time. And thank God for my dad. He facilitated. He was the one. I was actually at home with him at that moment. I was in my home in Kitale, and he called people, and he was in communication. As much as I was offline, people were communicating with him, and he was telling them what I'm going through. There's at some point he tried to get me to go to therapy or hospital, but I was like, I'll be okay. And I guess he might have also not known what to do at the moment, but he reached out to people, and people from church came, a few elders, and and the pastor, they came, and they asked me now, like, hey, we've been wanting to see you, we've been so concerned about you, and we really care about you, we love you. So what's up? Tell us. And that was like the first time I ever uttered the word to confess that I'm actually feeling depressed. And I guess that was the beginning of that first phase of recovery. So they told me about their own experience. They told me about how that is how just life is. You can lose things. You can lose job. You can lose family. Some people have lost people, loved ones. But still there is hope. As long as you're alive, as long as God keeps you breathing, there's plenty of hope for you to hold on to. And after that, we prayed together. I thank God for my brother, actually. He was working in Nairobi, and it's around that time that he came. And it was an encouragement for me, because he just used to hear about this and he wanted to just actually see it and find ways that I can be helped. A lot of those people that came were also connections from him. And he was lobbying prayer groups for me, wherever he was, always concerned, calling until I guess I switched off I was on airplane and yeah. So it was quite lovely. It was wonderful to have family that is concerned, people from church that are actually concerned about my well-being. So, and that's why I say miraculously, I got better. So I had sleep. I slept that night. The next day,
you're also not sleeping?
I was not sleeping. Yeah, I was not sleeping.
So insomnia is also one of the
insomnia. Yeah, insomnia. So I was not sleeping. Thank you for bringing that up. I was not sleeping. The entire night I was just looking up, hoping that morning takes a little longer to come. And the sound, Najwa, you are in the rural places where there's chicken, there's this and that. So whenever you hear the noise of livestock, whenever you hear people outside talking, you're like, now it's morning again, having to live through all this. And yeah, so insomnia was it. So I slept, and then the next day, one of the guys invited me to have coffee. No, yeah, we were to have lunch. The previous night, just before I sort of recovered. So I was even worried, by the way, when I went to bed, I was worried, how am I going to get out of the house for the first time? How am I going to get into the shower after this long time with the water? You know, I was beginning to get dark. I would see some buildup of dirt on myself. I lost touch of how I was smelling at the moment. Yeah, so there was that. And I woke up the next morning. Actually, I slept well that night. That's why I believe God did something. God touched me. I slept well. I woke up like I was not depressed yesterday. And I was fine.
Wow.
I was fine. I went, we hung out with the people, and we had lunch, and we had good conversations, and hope was there.
Wow.
And that was the first phase. That was the first phase.
I love that. And I just want to sort of pull that thread a little bit. And I think you've mentioned a couple of things. Because somebody might be listening here and either themselves or a loved one could be seeing these things and they don't know what to do with that, right? So you're socially withdrawn.
Yes.
You're not paying very much attention to, a lot of attention to your personal hygiene.
Yes.
You've lost, in a sense, joy in some of those things that used to bring you a lot of joy and excitement. You don't want to do them. You're not sleeping very well, right? I'm guessing also maybe even your appetite was not so good and stuff. And I think those are some of the telltale signs maybe then for somebody to perhaps even just check themselves and to see, are these things that are characterizing you, right? And they can begin to maybe ask whether they are depressed or clinically depressed, maybe as we would like to say it. So before we go to this second phase, first of all, is just to acknowledge that I think what you've mentioned here is that there's such power in just people coming around.
Indeed.
Somebody who's going through such a challenge.
Yes.
That for you didn't need medication, at least at that point.
At that point, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like it literally took just people reaching out, people coming alongside you, people showing concern, and that actually made a significant.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made a significant change.
Change, yes.
And it's like they created an atmosphere for God to move, like to, God will not come down from heaven and say, Josiah, rise up, and he will use his people to touch you and to uplift you and to encourage you. So that meant a lot for me at that moment.
All right. So you've gone through that first phase, all right? So you're well. How long were you okay maybe before then you went again maybe into a second?
Yes. Now, just before the second phase, I was, there's something about the bipolar condition. Actually, I had not yet even thought of it at that moment. I was just, I've recovered from depression. It was just depression, and that's it. That's it. So we move into 2020, January, February. January, at some point, I came to Nairobi. I came to visit my bro, and just to hang out, everyone was excited. Josiah is back, we have our guy here. He's all right, he's all right. He's going to do good. So I'm visiting. I just want to make all the phone calls I never used to make. I would just like open my phone and make random phone calls or any number. Hey, how are you? Where are you? How have you been? This is how I've been, but I'm okay. So I come and I visit, and unfortunately we were hit by COVID. Yeah, we were hit by COVID. And so still, as much as you have recovered from a long phase of depression, there must be something that goes on, that continues,
yes,
that gives you purpose, that gives you like the anticipation for tomorrow, and working on yourself as well. So for me at that moment, it was coming to church. Unfortunately, there was lockdown. There was lockdown. So
the thing you're looking forward to, the thing that is giving you a sense of purpose,
it did.
Now there's a lockdown and we can't go to church.
Yeah, you can't go to church. And back since I was, I guess since I was in campus, church was the safe space for me. Me and many other young people, my brother included, like we used to go and hang out in church. We jam, we play music together, we sing together, we pray, have Bible studies, and it kept us wanting to look forward to the next Thursday. It used to be Thursdays. Looking forward to the next Thursdays. But that ended. And I was not even in my hometown. I was in Nairobi, where I'm meeting new people. These people haven't known me. Probably some of them don't have a history of me. And so it was quite tricky. It was quite tricky at that moment to even find the fellowship I needed at the moment. Even to meet with family, you know. And so I'm in my state of, there's a state of bipolar. You know, bipolar, there's bipolar 1 and 2. I won't go deeper into those, but bipolar 2 would be what I was diagnosed with. Yeah. So you are in a hypomanic state. Hypomanic state is just it's a softer version of a manic state. Manic state can be seen in bipolar 1, and it usually is a little, I would say, lack of better word, it's a little crazier. It's like it's extreme. It's an extreme case of mania. So in my hypomanic state, I'm so social, extremely what do we say? Unusually excited, you know, wanting to make so many friends. I remember where my brother was staying. He stayed there for longer, but I was known in the place more than him.
Within a very short time.
I knew so many neighbors, you know. I remember at some point I went to a neighbor to ask for, was it sugar or what? Yeah. So there was that. And making friends with even the people, the vendors, the grocery vendors, well, mama mbogas, you know, and all these people in the streets. So I was beginning to enjoy that thing, like it was giving me some sort of dopamine hit, like how I'm able to penetrate places and meet new people and think we are actually friends. You know, you think you're friends with these people, but you're not. It's just a moment. It's just a moment. Yeah, so that again became a problem. Okay. Because you can't be moving around during COVID. You can't be out there past, I remember at some times I was even out past the curfew hours. You know, that's a crime. So there's that danger, and there's that thing about having the bipolar condition. You can actually take a lot of risks thinking you're just, okay, it's normal. It's you being bold. It's you being, you know, no fear. Yeah. It's not a good thing per se. It's not a good thing per se because you will brush shoulders wrongly. You may end up in the hands of the law. You may fall in the hands of the law. It happened to me twice or thrice. Twice or thrice. Yeah.
What happened?
What happened? At first, I was found outside during curfew hours. So I was hanging out with people and we overstayed.
Because you're feeling very energetic.
Energetic.
Yeah.
And imagine the people that we're hanging out with. These are people we met just a few weeks ago. We just, they're just in the estate and let's hang out a little more. And so we were arrested, though we came out the same night. Then there was another one. I was just walking in town, and there was this kind of people who used to take that risk. You know, some of us used to feel like, no, this corona is,
It's overrated.
It's it's overrated. Maybe it doesn't even exist. It doesn't exist in Kenya. Even Tanzania, can you see Tanzania? Those guys are just, and it's crazy. So I'm walking in the evening after I had come just from rehearsal session. I was going to church. I was planning to go to church the next Sunday. Actually, no. So I had come from a rehearsal session, which was also controlled. Like, not everyone was there, so it's just a few people. In fact, I used to just come just to meet those people, even when I'm not actually serving. I just want to be there and see people and see what the media guys are doing and see what the, all the preparations, technology and all that. It was so captivating for me at that moment. So I'm walking in town, and then very confidently, without a mask, well dressed, and then some two cops stop me. Hey, how are you? Hey, I'm good. Are you a policeman? No. And that's when things turned upside down.
Yeah.
How can you walk in town like this without a mask and you're not a policeman? Hey, you are cuffed. So I was cuffed, and then we moved around town to get another person to be cuffed, and then we were escorted to a police station where we spent the night, because even if I made a phone call, nobody would come for me because it's past curfew hours. Yeah, and so we sat there, we spent the night. It was not a very happy, it was not a very interesting experience. Yeah, and it made me feel, now what's happening with my life? Why is it falling apart? Because this is like the third time I'm being arrested over this issue. Is it the third time? Yeah. Because the second time, I was still without a mask, but it was during daytime.
Okay.
And so I was arrested and placed in a police cell. And then I negotiated my way out. So there's also that thing.
Yeah.
There's a way I don't know where the creativity was coming from, but I would talk to the policeman without even, there was no issue at a bribe or no. First of all, I didn't even have the money at the moment. I'm unemployed. So, but he was lenient and told me, wear a mask. Yeah, he got the mask out and wear. So I just used to have the mask, but I'm not wearing it. Risky behavior.
Yeah.
So characteristic of bipolar.
Okay, that is a very good point too. We'll just take a small pause right there because I want us to come back to that. And thank you so much. I hope that you are picking out something here. And if you have any questions or if you have any comments, please do get in touch with us on our WhatsApp line 0786 316 316. You can also go to our digital platforms, that is YouTube and Facebook, where we are broadcasting this live. And you can leave a comment in the chat section. We'd love to interact with what you are hearing here. So let's take a break. We'll listen to a message from our MD, Leo Slingerland, and we'll be right back after the break. See you soon.
God has never promised us a life without storms. What He has promised is that He will be with us in the storm. Jesus said in John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. This is not just a nice Bible verse, it's a lifeline. When the world becomes unstable, Christ remains stable. When prices go up, when roads are unsafe, when people are confused, when families are under pressure, Jesus is still the same yesterday, today, and forever. And that's why family media exists. We are not on air because life is easy. We are on air because life is difficult. And people need hope. People need truth. People need encouragement. People need to hear that God has not forgotten him. Every morning, when someone switches on family devotion, and every evening when someone joins prayer circle, every child watching Superbook, every person listening to the worship or hearing the word of God, something is happening. Faith is being built. Hearts are being strengthened. Kenya does not need less of Jesus. Kenya needs more of Jesus. Our homes need him. Our children need him. Our businesses need him. Our leaders need him. Our broken hearts need him. So I want to ask you, as sincerely as I can, stand with us. Help us continue this mission. Help us keep the gospel on radio and television, on satellite, on apps, on YouTube, on every platform where people are searching for hope. Maybe you cannot preach to thousands. Maybe you cannot produce a program. You can be part of the mission. Together, we can continue keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
A very, very warm welcome back to Motivation Monday, where we share inspiring stories and have challenging conversations. I'm your host, Ted Wahome, and in studio we have Josiah Juma. But even before we get there, well, this is a reminder, just as our MD indeed has shared, that you can ensure that hearts are encouraged and lifted up, that hope is kept alive, and Jesus is kept alive. And you can do that by becoming part of the family that helps to make that happen. Consider being a partner today. You can do so by donating to the paybill number 316-316. The account number will be your phone number, and that will go a long way in keeping Jesus on the airwaves and helping to keep hope alive. Now, the month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And even before we get to the end of this month, we are talking today about living with bipolar. And we have in studio Josiah Juma, who is somebody and an individual who's living with bipolar. And he has helped us really to understand what bipolar is. It's a mood disorder. The term bipolar means two poles or extreme poles. So there's a depressive state, which of course is characterized by things such as social withdrawal, perhaps not caring about hygiene or losing interest in the things that one likes or stuff like that. And sometimes just experiencing very long and extended bouts of sadness. And of course, you also have the manic state, the other pole, where you're overly excited, where you have so much energy, you want to socialize with everyone, sometimes engaging in risky behavior. And these are some of the things that he has shared. And we would love to hear from you. Do you have an experience, perhaps of a loved one? Is this perhaps you? Please feel free to share your experience with us, or your thoughts and your comments, because these are things and matters that are alive with us today. And we've got to know how to deal with and how to be on the front lines, taking care of those who are living with bipolar, and of course any other mental health challenge, and how we can be better ambassadors and friends to those among us who may be facing such issues. So please feel free to get in touch with us. 0786 316 316 is our WhatsApp line, and of course you can also share on our digital platforms, YouTube and Facebook. You can leave us a comment right there. We'd love to hear from you. In fact, let me just read a comment here. Somebody here says, "Wow, what a beautiful story. I'm so happy to see someone with bipolar so strong and so wise." That's amazing. Thank you so much indeed for sharing that. And yeah, keep the texts coming, keep the messages coming. We'd love to hear from you. John Gidanga, I see you typing, so I look forward to hearing and to reading your comment in just a bit. All right, Josiah, I want to really agree with, I think, what this individual has said, that one of the things is, from my experience, even from people who maybe have challenges with bipolar, is that sometimes, especially social awareness becomes a bit challenging. But I think you have really managed to, in some way, be very poised and stuff like that. What do you attribute that to?
Well.
In other words, by the way, somebody looking at you might not, like, until you tell them,
yes,
it might not be that obvious.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, first of all, you know, it was not like this on day one. Mm-hmm. It was not like this on day one. Okay. I've had to go through a healing process, which I'm also still currently on. Like, it's about getting better and better and understanding yourself more. And perhaps having a supportive group that surrounds you, people who know your situation and they surround you. So, but I give an honor to God, because some of these things actually, it's God's doing. Like I said earlier, God will use His people to touch your life. He'll use His people to minister to you. And to even speak into you. I've gone through several therapy sessions. I still go through therapy, which is something that needs to be normalized. therapy is really important. It's so important in the sense that people need to be sensitized about it. I think that needs to be added in the curriculum somewhere, that a whole person needs some therapy.
The same way you go to a doctor,
yes,
for treating your physical body, you need to also go to somebody who helps you think about the internal.
Yes, and we don't only go to doctors because we are sick. Sometimes we just want a checkup,
exactly.
just to know that everything is okay, or to get any signs, early detection, so that you know how to mitigate. So it's really important in that sense. So therapy is there, and having a routine. I don't know. Having a routine actually helps because sort of you won't wake up in the morning and wonder, hey, what's up today? What am I supposed to do? And then you haphazardly get out of the house, and somebody invites you here and you are already there. There's that thing about me that I can be easily available sometimes. You may find yourself even forgetting the most important things. Like probably you're supposed to make a phone call, maybe you're supposed to pay a particular bill, but because of the excitement of the moment, you even find yourself you've overspent at something that was not necessary. That's actually another sign that somebody is in a manic state.
Okay. Now
we are in the manic state where it's this happy person, happy and excited and unusual. So you're overspending, the risky behavior happens, and all that kind of thing.
Okay.
So it's taken quite a couple of things. It's hard even to connect all of them, but it begins from a point of awareness. It begins from a point of probably knowing when this thing is about to occur. You know that I'm actually about to get into an outburst of anger because of something that has happened, something that was said. I know at some point I used to have a problem. Especially in chaos. There's the chaos that you want, like me being a musician. When we are playing music, we like playing it loud and, we are having fun and, it's good. But then there's the unnecessary noise. There's the unnecessary noise of, let's say it's a matatu hooting, and it's hooting unnecessarily. I remember one time I was just sitting and I was trying to read a book in the matatu as we wait for the matatu to fill up and we go. So, there's this particular town boy. He kept on hitting the bus. He kept on hitting it so hard. I thought he was actually wanting to damage this body, or he was doing the body work or what. I had to get out of the bus and ask, hey, bro, can you make it a little quieter? It's like, hii ni kazi yangu. But, you don't have to do that. We won't get into the bus. The bus won't fill up faster if you hit it faster. It's not like you're hitting people into the bus and, they're just trickling in. No, it's not like that. They go when they will want to go. They'll definitely, But, so he understood. And I understood him, though he kept on doing the same thing. And I just ignored.
So, thank you for sharing that, which is very funny. When you spoke about normalizing therapy, I think it just the thought that struck me here is, first of all, where do you think we are in terms of understanding mental health generally? What has been the reception with people around you, perhaps at the workplace or in different spaces? You've talked about a good community, but of course you live in a society. And I'd love to hear just your experience and what it has meant for you to just see how people perceive certain these issues. Have you ever been discriminated by any chance, at the workplace, for instance, because of this?
I believe so. It's not like discrimination is visible in black and white out there, but probably you will be seen. You'll see people thinking, no, what's up? And it's mostly with let's say it's people who don't know you, people who don't know your history. They would tend to think, hey, this person is a bit too extreme. He's so extra. This person is so extra. But that's just you being normal. I used to have a stick somewhere that it's mentioned something. It's something to the tune of, I am not weird. You are just too simple. Anyway, it's not how I see people, though. So people expect you to be quiet when you are not, when you don't when they expect you to be quiet in places where you are probably having a higher authority than you, you know, like not to air your opinions, like, you know, you're a regular person. You cannot speak too much. You can't be speaking too much, man. You're speaking too much. You know, you have to reserve your word. You have to tame yourself. Actually, there are some times we are sitting at a table. I remember a former workplace, we were sitting at a table and somebody was tapping me, hey, Josiah, you know, like, hey, take it easy. Tone it down. And when that happens, you feel like you are being suppressed, like your true self is being suppressed. Your creativity at some points, actually, you know, being in the creative industry, I remember people actually would consider, no, that idea is so exaggerated. That way of doing things is quite extreme now. You know, we can't do this. Yet in my mind, this is like, this is the best way. This is what will elevate us. This is what will take us to the, you know, the next level. Why are you ignoring this? This is too good to be ignored. And you feel, now these people, it takes you, it drains your energy when you begin to feel like, okay, these people don't understand me. Yeah, you know, being left out.
So there's a place then for us to understand, you know, what like say bipolar is exactly, and knowing how to accommodate. So that I know maybe even like from Bali, from afar, I can tell, okay, I think he's in a manic state, and that's okay. It just means he's very energetic and stuff. And finding out maybe, because I'm even thinking like, okay, when you are feeling very energetic, what are some of the things that you feel are, because you said like, so again, just back to, we'll be going back to this again and again, just to help us understand, because bipolar is a mood disorder, right? So you experience extreme emotions. So you could be in a depressive state where you're experiencing moods of sadness, with social withdrawal, not enjoying the things you used to enjoy, perhaps not caring so much about your personal hygiene and stuff. You just want to be away. And then there's the extreme other emotion side, which is the manic state, right? Where now you are very energetic, you sometimes maybe engage in risky behavior, you have ideas, you're communicating, you're probably not sleeping a lot, you know, both, I think in both states actually, both the depressive and the manic state, you're not sleeping as much. If somebody is around, especially, I think in terms of the depressive state, people can actually come and maybe try to talk to you. But when you're energetic and all that, what do you think would be the best way that somebody can relate at that point? And how do I express empathy and understanding at that time?
Well, at that time, patience would really help. If you are patient with these people when they are in a depressive state, if you're patient with them when I'm in a depressive state, it's the same thing is expected when I'm probably doing a lot or doing too much. And like, let's say if it's if you're in that manic state, probably your creativity might be heightened as well. So one of the things is to, okay, why, rather than rule out whatever somebody is saying, try to listen to it from their perspective. Like, put yourself in their shoes and assume that this is the best that could come out of them at this moment. How would I want to be treated, or how would I want to be? What is the reception I expect from people? And that would actually help you a lot. It would help you a lot in the sense that you would, you can even write down. If these people are speaking too much, probably they'll speak a lot of, we will speak a lot of things that don't make sense. But then there's that in between the lines, you know, there's that thing in between the lines. I've read quite a bit. I've done a little small research about how there's a tendency of being creative, being an artist, being probably a scientist, you know, this genius level stuff. There's chances are high that a bipolar person could be a very good one, like a very good surgeon, a very good doctor, you know. So they should be seen as people that can actually bring in a positive contribution to the society, rather than being left out or rather than being silenced. You know, there's that thing about somebody wants to speak, but you are really silencing them. You know, you shut up. That kind of thing. It's not good. It doesn't. It feels like a rejection, sort of. And I think we then we do well to both understand and find ways then of relating. Just from my own reading of church history,
there's a guy called William Cowper. And William Cowper lived, I think, in the 1700s, thereabout.
Yes.
He was one of the best poets, right? One of the hymns that he wrote that some of our audience might know is God. Now I'm forgetting but it's the poem. It's called, or the hymn. It's called, I think, God Works in Mysterious Ways. You know, it says something like, God works in mysterious ways, His wonders to perform.
Yes.
And when you read like his journals and stuff like that, the things he was describing there, today we have the language for it. You can actually tell that he was actually you know, bipolar.
Yes.
Because he would have this extreme, you know, depressive emotions, and then sometimes be very excited and stuff and all that. And so what he didn't have language for then, we do have language for today.
Yes.
And he, as I just want to agree with you that there's so much value, and there's so many hymns that perhaps today we might be singing that we don't even know. And so there's a lot of value in that. We're sort of hastening towards a close, but before we actually go back to you, I want to read just a couple of messages that have come in. This is from John Gidanga. You say, I can relate to the gentleman's experience with depression, but I did not gravitate to a state of bipolar. I was in this kind of situation between 2020 and 2022. Although I wasn't fully conscious that I was depressed, but my lack of interest in everything and protracted sadness for no reason could tell me that I was suffering from depression. I recovered just by the grace of God. When I started praying earnestly daily, the condition started disappearing just like that. It's a long story, but I thank God for that miraculous healing.
Wow.
That is John Gidanga from Nakuru. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Somebody here says, please allow him to tell you where we can find his music. After his exciting story, I just want to listen to him more. Well, thank you so much. And indeed, we were actually coming back to that. Edwin from Nairobi, you say, the policeman's story and the bus stories have really, have really made my day. Right there. Very interesting encounters right there. Tell us about what Josiah hopes for. What does your future look like, and what would you want to do?
I would want to reach my, not even reach, maybe get near to the peak of my potential, like my purpose, not even potential, purpose. Purpose is something that I really, I'm so focused on that, like discovering it, maybe rediscovering it, and moving on as I progress towards that actual purpose. Though I believe that mankind can be multi-purpose. Yeah, there's a lot of things that one individual can do, whether you are normal or in the neurodiverse spectrum. So we are multi-talented. There's things you could probably, Ted here can cook, you know, you never know. He can cook, you know, he can do plenty of things, and me as well. So I would I would want all those inner giftings, even the hidden talents, to one day be of service to the community.
All right.
Somebody was talking about where you can find my music. I've not written my own music. Yes. I actually do music that has already been done by people, but I look forward to that as well, because I feel like there's that thing about me and music and lyrics and all that. And playing instruments. I particularly play the piano. And if you go to my accounts, you will find me probably doing something on the piano.
Okay. What are your accounts? You can share them.
The accounts is, if you can just search Josiah King Juma. That's on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
All right. Josiah King Juma.
Yes.
That's a long name, but...
That's a long name. Or Josiah King Juma.
Yes.
Whichever. It will just, you will see my face if you can remember it.
Yes.
And you'll know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we really wish you the best, and we pray that God will actually give you the grace and the strength to actually live out your purpose. I think you have added such value to this conversation today, helping us understand bipolar, and just helping us live conscious of the fact that, sometimes, you can face a mental health challenge and still rise above it. I think you do even today. And I want to read a comment here, because there's a comment that came and said, when you hear of people with bipolar, society paints them as dangerous people to be around. But looking at our guest today, my perception has totally changed. In fact, going forward, I will view people with bipolar as courageous, very nice, and full of wisdom. Thank you, King Juma. That's what you have done for us today.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for embodying bravery, courage, resilience, a spirit of a willingness to learn, a willingness to be better. And I pray that even as a musician, one day we will, get to experience you on a national, if not global scale.
Amen.
And I pray that the Lord will actually help you to attain to your purpose. So before we close, we have literally just about a minute or so. You can face that, your audience and just, if you have a take home, if you have a word that you'd like to leave them with.
Mine would just to leave you with the words of Christ. There's this point where Christ was talking to Simon Peter. And I'll actually tell you, these things didn't start recently. They were from way back. People have exhibited these symptoms all through the Bible. And Christ told Peter, who seemed like hypomanic most of the time, told him, Simon, Satan has asked to sift you. Sifting is not an easy thing to go through by Satan, but I've prayed for you that your faith may not fail, and when you come out of it, strengthen your brothers. And so I speak to someone right now who might be going through a tough mental wealth issue, that it's not the end of it. Christ is interceding for you, and eventually your pain will have a purpose at the end, and you will be able to speak into somebody's life, and you'll bring hope to people, and God will use you. God can actually use you. Your gifts are intact. Don't think you'll lose it. Don't think you'll lose your salvation. God is with you, and He cares about you, and He wants to use that gift that He has placed in you. So be encouraged. Be encouraged. Thank you so much.
Wow. What a place to land this plane. This has been Motivation Monday, and indeed such a good and a wonderful conversation. Please share this with your friends, share this with your neighbors, let everyone know. And as we come to the end, indeed, just a reminder that this work continues because of your patronage, because of your partnership with us. Join the family, join the movement that is helping to keep hope alive and helping to keep Jesus on the airwaves. You do so by donating to the paybill number 316, the account number being your phone number. Alternatively, you can use our cooperative bank account 0113 6000 799100. I'll read that again, 0113 6000 799100. Account name will be TBN Family Media. May the Lord keep you blessed and indeed have a wonderful, wonderful time and a great day ahead. God bless you. See you next time.